What's up, guys? AW here. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay. I hope you're all having a good Tuesday. I just finished dinner so I can do the stream. And yes, this is Last of Us, episode 1. Let me edit this. Let me briefly edit this. One review stream. There we go. And yes, this is what we're going to talk about. But before we get into that, if you're new here, make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment below, do all that stuff. The typical, promoting stuff. Smash the like button down below, like it. Let's share this out. And if you're new to that, press the subscribe button. This will be going into a playlist I've set up after the stream is over with. But yes, so okay. There's a specific rule for these kind of review shows, okay? That I do. When I review video games, movies, TV shows, and whatever. When it's specifically spoiling with spoilers, okay? I do non-spoiler review and I do spoiler reviews. But for this is a spoiler review, so I have a rule. I specifically have kind of rules, okay? Usually my rule is if you want to come on and talk about or really want to stay in the chat, make sure you see the episode or the movie first because you know what happens, so you won't be spoiled. But if you haven't seen the movie or the show or even played the game, maybe you shouldn't be in this stream because you might be spoiled. I'm sorry, but there's gonna be spoilers. So I'm just warning you, people that haven't seen the movie or haven't played the game or seen the episode. I'm warning you, there's gonna be spoilers. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this stream. Okay? And I do that for everything, for video games, movies, and TV shows. Okay? And if you don't care about being spoiled, well, you have a right to be in the chat. Really. Okay? That's your right. And so let's get on with the stream. Excuse me there, guys. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. I watched this episode, the first episode of The Last of Us on HBO, with Team MME, with Max and Brian specifically, on Sunday night when the first episode dropped at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when I watched it. I watched it with them, and it was about an hour, 25-minute premiere. And we were excited, all of us, everybody who was watching it, people in the chat were excited, people in the watch along, the watch party were excited too, obviously. And it was fun. Yeah, we really did like the first episode. I really did like it. I liked it a lot. I'm also waiting for someone to pop in into my stream. There's only 2 people right now watching. Usually gets bigger as time goes on. Okay? And it was just, and I am happy that right off the bat in January, early January, we got our first big show of the year. Really, really big show. And it did not fail to deliver. Okay? Really did not fail to deliver. They got it's obviously based on a video game. There's 2 video games. Last of Us and Last of Us 2. And if you played the video games, you're pretty much spoiled already. You know what happens. If you haven't played the video games, but you're aware of some stuff, because there's some stuff in the video games that have, become mainstream and cause a lot of unnecessary issues. And so, as we wait, this is really a Halo had a series, right? It was 50-50. But I think the majority of people really did like this first episode of Last of Us on HBO. First season. And now there's 9 episodes, so that means for every Tuesday for 9 weeks, we're going to be doing a spoiler review stream for 9 episodes for 9 weeks straight. So basically 2 months. So for 2 months on Tuesdays, we'll be doing the show. Usually I do this kind of stuff on Saturdays, but since this show drops on Sundays, we're changing it a bit. Okay? We're changing it a bit. Just for this show. And welcome for people who decided to join. Come, say hello, say subscribe. Also. So let's get to the casting, okay? Well, I'll wait for Blind and Braille because I know he's gonna come on. I'm pretty sure I sent an invitation. Okay. So the casting for this show, we have Pedro Pascal. He's almost in everything. He's Mando, he's other stuff. But we have Pedro Pascal. He's playing Joel, one of the main protagonists of the show, right? Who the story's going to focus on. And then you have Bella Ramsey, who is playing Ellie. And from Game of Thrones, if you remember. You have Anna Torv, who you may not remember her, but if you remember the show Fringe, she was on that show. Gabriel Luna is in the show. Gabriel Luna is in the Terminator. He plays one of the Terminators in Terminator movies. I think it's the last one. And also, if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was the ghostwriter of that show. And please leave a like and subscribe, please. You get me? What's up? Bumble, I sent you a link, buddy. I sent you a link. So, okay. Don't worry, we haven't gone to anything like major yet. I haven't gone anything major. I'm taking my time for you to come in. That's what I'm doing. And the thing is, they have, if you know the actor Stanley Newton is one of the stars of Westworld. Yes, Westworld. That's correct. Westworld. Her daughter plays a role in the show. Small role, but very important role. Actually, small but very important. That's the thing, though. Small roles could be important. Okay. Okay. And her name is Nicole Parker. I believe that's her name. And where's my buddy Degrassi? Come on, Degrassi. I know you're here. I know you're here. What's up, bro?
What's up?
You just had to put Abby.
I had to. Just to trigger some people
What the fuck?
if they show up. Yeah. So someone will get the, will get the joke.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So what's up? How's your day?
It's been pretty okay. Nothing much, I guess. Just the same old.
Same here. Same old with me. Nothing major. Nothing new. So that's good, man. So I was just like, I didn't really go into the show yet. Like, I just gave my like brief thoughts how I like the show, but how I saw it with Max and Brian, obviously.
Yes.
On Sunday, which was fun. It was a long stream, long watch along. It was an hour, like in 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long episode. It was.
I know. Okay, so let's just we both really like the episode.
Yes.
And I even go as far as to say Pedro's also win the Emmy, next year's Emmy. Just ready.
I'd be curious if he gets nominated. I don't know if anybody will get nominated, but it would be nice if he did.
What, the video game thing?
No, we haven't seen much of the show yet, but I would say that his portrayal as Joel, just within that first episode, it was shocking just how good it was, because it was, I would say he was exactly like the character, which I don't say often, by the way.
Much better than his Mando character, because we don't really like. I know he's the guy behind the mask of Mando, but is he really? Is he really?
Yeah, I think there's a disconnect with Mando. Not to say Mando is bad, but
yeah, it's just not Pedro's best acting, because
he's not in a lot of stuff too.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be in more movies, to be honest.
Yeah, but I thought he played Joel. I thought his accent was the English accent. Like you could tell, like he doesn't have his Spanish accent. He
has this Texan accent.
Yeah, Texan accent. Yeah, which Last of Us takes place in, but even though it's filmed in Calgary, in our country.
Well, Joel is from Texas, and then the later when they actually do the time skip, it takes place in Boston, because there's actually some interesting stuff.
And Max warned Saggy, "Watch out, Saggy." Yeah, it does. Yeah, as we saw in the episode, and Max joked about the daughter, how she looks like Thandie Newton from Westworld, and a little bit of the girl from Willow.
Well, that's because that's her daughter.
I know, it is her daughter.
I didn't know too. I didn't know this either, because I didn't even look it up. I was watching a video and they brought it up, and I was watching this with my mom, and so my mom was telling me, "Oh, that's she looks exactly like that actress," and I'm like, I don't know. And then I was like, oh snap, that's her daughter. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, she did a good job. I seen some people saying it was cringe, but I disagree. I don't agree with that.
I haven't been people bitching about.
Not people are just people we follow. I've been seeing kind of their takes and stuff. Not to say that they can't have their takes, but I'm just like, I
No,
disagree.
because in the game she's not black.
Well, here's the thing. Like people are like, "Oh, she's black," and it's like she is mixed. I'm
Yeah,
like, have you seen a mixed person? Like, I
yeah.
look like that, right? Like, I have very light skin and curly hair, so it's like,
In
yeah,
the game,
like
she
you could
didn't
tell
have to.
she's black, but
And yeah,
she could
because
also be Hispanic too. Like
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Pedro Pascal looks pretty white, so if the mom is black, then yes, that would make sense.
yeah.
Like I
We don't know. We really don't know because we don't know what happened to the mother. Like in this.
no, yeah. Nah, it makes me even want to Google like her father in real life because her
I'll,
mom is mixed, and we're
I'll
talking
just
about the actress.
I'll just say Ellie in the show. This looks much old. I know the actress is older. There's much. It's much. She's much older than the video game counterpart.
Yeah, I think right now she's like 19 or 18,
Which
something
I
like
think
that.
is fine for the show.
Yeah, you don't need someone super young just because.
Yeah.
I mean, she has experience and stuff. She's been on Game of Thrones, so I'm still the jury's still out on her. I think there wasn't a lot of Ellie in this episode to really get a good
No.
hold of her. I mean, she is. I would say she's written like the character. I don't know if the actress is playing her like Ellie just yet.
Was Ellie always someone like to swear a lot?
Yeah, she was always swearing a lot. I mean, there's that
She
whole
was
scene where,
mouthy.
yeah, she was very rambunctious and stuff.
Yeah.
That's her character.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like this episode. I like I like the beginning. I mean, we had the
Yeah.
1960s where a guy who the Brandon Fraser's brother from Mummy, brother-in-law from the Mummy,
Hmm.
because that was his brother-in-law from the Mummy. Explain. Okay, I'm sorry if I botched this up because I'm not a science guy. I'm not a person into science and this kind of stuff. Like it's hard to understand that, but you once you see the zombie stuff, you understand what he meant.
Yeah. But I also think it was playing up
Yeah,
kind of COVID too, because uh,
I was
like
thinking
most
that.
people know that the threat of COVID was a thing, but it was just ignored,
Yeah,
right? So I read it more as like this is just a introduction to people who don't know how the cordyceps work in The Last of Us, and so far we haven't even seen how they work,
the thing
right?
is,
We just seen bits and
yeah,
pieces, which is interesting, but yeah.
the thing is, right? I mean, there's an apocalypse, right? There's always like the thing is a pandemic. This kind of pandemic could go on and on and on,
Hmm.
right? With zombies and stuff. That's why. But you could live in society with zombies. You just have to be careful with zombies. But yeah, he was just warning us
Hmm.
what happens if something evolves to a point where we're faced with a deadly disease or outbreak that has no cure, no treatment, no vaccine. Obviously, COVID has a
Hmm.
vaccine and there's treatment for it, right? But like this is different because this is and
Yeah, this is a fungal
yeah,
infection.
yeah, yeah. Which there's fungal infections really. Like there is such thing. I just think, but I
Hmm.
think they're treatable though.
Yeah, this is. I mean, they were the inspiration for
Yeah,
the cordyceps came from this fungus that takes over ants and other arachnids, and it
yeah,
kind of takes over the body and kills it and pretty much keeps uses the body as like a way to live, right? Which is all viruses, but it's pretty nasty. It's disgusting. Um, and I mean the infection here, there is some updates that are not like the game.
hey, they
I
got.
guess we'll get into that when it
Oh
when it
yeah,
comes up.
so we see her at school. Obviously, the
Yeah.
daughter, and she's obviously the father's single, Joel's single, and his is they're divorced or whatever. I don't know. They didn't really explain what happened to the mother. This at this point,
Yeah,
I think,
it's um I think they kind of touch on it.
and we
They
still,
say that it's very similar to the game. It's that the mom just left them.
I
She
blame
wasn't interested.
I blame Ghostwriter for everything in this game, this whole movie, this whole show because they have to
Ghost.
get. Yes, Gabriel Lune does it. He played Ghost Rider, Agents of Shield.
Yeah. I was like confused for a minute, like, what do you mean? And then I was like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ghost Rider. He wanted to warn anybody in Apocalypse. He could have turned into Ghost Rider.
Which, by the way, he's another actor in the show that plays the character exactly like the game.
Tommy, right?
He even sounds. I think Pedro Pascal's accent is, but that guy who plays Tommy, he sounds like the character from the game. It's actually kind of spooky. It's like, bro, like when I close my eyes, I'm like, that's Tommy. So he's gonna have some good parts when they do season 2 because Tommy's a freaking badass. Especially in the second part, he does some crazy ass shit, and they hint at it in this game, at this episode.
Yeah, later on, because we don't see him. We only see him for the first 25-30 minutes, but they do mention him in the rest of the episode.
Well, not just in that episode, but like in that scene when they leave on the truck, he has he was like in the army, which is never actually hinted at in the game. But like.
He was Terminator. That's true.
Yeah, he wasn't Terminator. He was okay in Terminator.
Yeah. So in the first episode, the first few minutes, well, maybe 15-20 minutes. I mean, it was focused on Joel, but I was really focused on the daughter because the daughter plays a
Sarah
part. I know it's a small part, but it was a huge part. It was a huge impact. And you could tell because if you play the game, losing his daughter made him harden, and taking care of Ellie, right? Taking care of Ellie is what made him soften up. It's kind of like Kratos when he had Atreus. He started to soften up as a father. He wasn't known as that hard shell kind of. He was still kind of hard, but he wasn't like the Kratos from God of War, right?
Yeah, I mean, and this episode, I'm gonna keep like mixing up episode game, but like in this episode, let me just touch on the stuff with Sarah because I thought like they pretty much that whole beginning part of the episode of just her going through her daily life, like it was slow, but you start to realize, okay, this is obviously building up some suspense, right? Like when she's in class, you actually see one of the classmates is having one of the symptoms of the cordyceps, which is the muscle function where he's like twitching, but he doesn't realize what's going on. And then obviously see the cops, and then she goes to the neighbor's house, and the neighbor is, in the background, and she's twitching and going nuts, right? From the cordyceps. Yeah. So all of that I thought was like, it's slow, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, it's slow is good. Like it's an hour and 25 minutes. It's good. Yeah, they had basically a lot of time for the premiere episode to go slow. But I like the beginning, definitely the beginning, and I mean I like the shots when they're trying to escape and go to Mexico. But you see, like those, it was a great shot. Those airplanes, how low they were. There was like 3. They showed like 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm. That was if we're gonna talk about changes, was a good change.
Yeah,
in my opinion, yes. Yeah. It made it feel a lot more. I won't say realistic, right? But I would say that, like, I mean, they did mention in the beginning, like, hey, viruses will be transported because of the airplanes. So it's like that means that someone is going to turn on an airplane and the airplane is going to crash. So
yeah, it makes perfect sense.
It makes sense, yes.
Yeah, of course.
It feels more, which is weird. It feels more like a game logic, like that should have been in the game, and what we got in the game should have been in the show. If you think about it, right? Because just the scale of the plane just crashing.
And what happened? Hey, Vortex. And what happens when they're when they were trying to get to Mexico, and you see was it a plane or something? No, something else. And Stuffy just flew at high velocity through the back window. Oh my god! Lucky, like it hurt. Lucky because if it hit someone, that could have killed someone really because of how fast it was going. But they did cause a lot of damage, and they could. But what was great about that scene was the damaged car. Tommy's on one side, and they're on the other side. I think they couldn't get to each other.
Yes. Yeah.
They had to split. And then you see him, and his daughter's hurt, right? Because the daughter had a broken ankle, an ankle injury from that crash, whatever. And and he was carrying, and you see from the army, taking precautions, has to make sure this person's not bitten and not showing any symptoms of transforming into this
Mhm.
zombie like, and he's and he's not listening because he's not. They're not just turning into zombie. She's not turning into zombie. The guy felt that the man is safe, but she's not because
Yeah.
she's badly hurt. So you couldn't tell the difference if she's bitten or not, right? And that scene
Which yeah, that scene, I mean, it resonates in the game too.
Yeah.
But like I think there's also, it also seems like they were just going to kill anybody, which is kind of scary, right? Because they did shoot at Joel too, which he wasn't even injured.
Because they didn't know it was affected or not. It's like, how
Yeah.
do you know? Because they don't want to get close to someone who's possibly affected, right? Because they could get himself.
Yeah. and the runner stage,
That was awesome.
we got to see a lot of it. Well, we got to see a lot of it, but it was also at a distance too. But like that one that was chasing Joel before Sarah dies, it was actually like I actually did like some of the small changes, right? Because like in the game, you mostly see the runners just running on their feet, right? Like they run at you, but this one was actually just lunging at him. Like it wasn't even like it was controlling the body. It was just like almost like he was a puppet, and it was just like the puppet's being thrown around. So I kind of like that because you don't really. If that was in the game, that would be horrifying, right? Like you kind of see them lunge at you, but it wasn't like that in the game, right? And also too the old lady. Another addition is like they have the fungus actually growing out of them, which is not.
Yeah.
The runners don't do that. The runners, the cordyceps would break through the head. It's kind of disgusting, and then you would turn into a stalker. So I thought that was a cool addition because it makes it gross. It's like this. It's coming from the inside of your body,
That's disgusting.
right? And it's coming out of your mouth. Yeah, it's disgusting. And so, and then when you see, she's obviously killed her. The old lady killed her family and stuff. But then you also see Joel kind of show his character a little bit because he tells the neighbor to get inside, and then Tommy was Tommy driving. It was Tommy who was driving, right?
Yeah, it was Tommy. Yeah.
Joel and he ends up hitting one of the neighbors, and then the neighbor goes and was like, "What the hell, Joel?" And then you see that neighbor die. So it's like, oh man, that's so sad. It was just like little small things that were happening in the background,
and he just ignored the people on the highway.
Yeah, which is in the game. That whole thing that was when they're in the car leading up to obviously the plane crash.
Yeah,
that was all from the game, like almost verbatim. Like there's the only change that they did was when they get to the house, it's a different guy's name that they mention, but that let's just say it's verbatim. It's literally verbatim, and they even make, if it's not verbatim, then it's almost like a callback to the game too. So it's kind of interesting in that way when they do take dialogue from the game, at least.
Okay, to answer your question, Vortex, Quantumania in Canada, at least it's the same day in the States, the 17th, but technically the 16th. But
yeah, the tickets came on sale. They gave me like an email. I don't know if I'll.
Yeah. So yeah, basically a month from now, like exactly a month.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much. I don't know what's in France, but that's but yeah, and then obviously we see go to about 18. What year was it? When 2003?
2003, yes.
And it was 2020. What?
2023.
20. So 20 years later.
Yeah.
Okay. You better not spoil it for me. If you do, I'll kill you.
Whoa.
No,
that was like the most craziest thing Aaron said on stream.
Me and Vortex joke around a lot. We love joking around with each other.
Yeah, I know. I was just pulling your leg.
But yeah, so we go 20 years later, and we see that they're in Boston, and now it's under militant kind of rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quarantine, obviously.
Yeah, they have the QZs.
Yeah, and they taking that girl who just had like the young girl, because they want to show what.
Was it a girl? I keep seeing people say boy, girl.
I thought that was a girl.
It looked like a boy to me. Like he just had like long hair and stuff.
Tap Pierce Vortex. Oh my god.
Oh, there's trouble being. Oh man, is this news or is this like?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but
yeah. Well, so what happened? So okay. So then we see Joel, and the employee and the people working there. They have jobs. It's like, okay, just because it's post-apocalyptic era does not mean society does not live on. Society does live on. It continues on. It's different ways of living throughout centuries, throughout millenniums. It evolves. Just even with the apocalypse happening, it evolves, right? And that's what's happening here, right? And so you see Joel and a bunch of other people basically digging graves of dead people for dead people. I think
they're not even digging graves. They're throwing dead bodies into pits to get incinerated. It's pretty bleak.
Because usually if they're infected, you usually have to burn them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I mean, in the game we see them just like shoot people that were infected.
And that truck, you see that one woman's like, she can't do it because I was a child, right? And Joel's like, had no problem doing it. Joel didn't want to.
Yeah, because he's at that point long gone, right?
Yeah.
But before that, I liked the scene where with the kid and then they were talking to him because it was kind of a great way of showing that there was no vaccine, right? They didn't say, oh, there's no vaccine. There was like, hey, this is like the bleak reality of things. It's like they have to kill anybody. Right?
Vortex. Here's the thing. When I see the movie, the Saturday after, I will be doing a spoiler stream, okay?
What is this comment?
Isaac. It's Isaac.
Bruh.
I love Vortex. He's hardened, right? He has but he's part of he has been smuggling drugs, obviously. Right? He's he's been smuggling, and that his partner is his lover too, is his lover, Anna Torv's character. And Tess, yes. And she's while they're inside quarantine, there's kind of like underground gangs, I guess, going around. Also, they can't get caught.
Yeah.
Because they're right. And there's also specifically designated terrorists, and we'll get later to that. That's where that's the Bella story where she was being held.
Ellie and Marlene. Yeah,
Ellie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the game, like the quarantines are they're pretty borderline fascist. I mean, like there was an interesting part where it was like Joel is like seeing them get hanged. Yeah, and what makes it a lot more interesting is that location is where the founding fathers actually wrote some of the Constitution. So I thought that was kind of interesting because it just shows you how far that their freedom has been stripped because of this virus, right? So they just turn into full-blown fascists, right? Where they're just hanging people. It's crazy.
Vortex, be careful when you search on YouTube. Be careful, okay? When you do that.
Don't go down the YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah. But yeah, Ellie with a mouth, right?
Mm-mm.
And Marlene, the actress, is actually from the actual game.
Yes.
Voice actress. So that's great. They put the voice, and it wasn't his first episode, but Troy Baker, who does a voice for Joel, is actually having a role in the show.
Yes, I won't spoil. I know his role in the game, so I won't, or the role in the show, I should say. I don't want to spoil it because it is a major part.
Hey, you want to know something? Okay. When the Illuminati got revealed, people did cheer, but not for everybody. They basically only cheered for Mr. Fantastic. I didn't because I knew he was in it, and I'm like I don't.
Mm,
Here's the thing. I really don't cheer at movies. You don't want to know, and I don't clap at movies. You know why? Because they're not there.
mm.
The cast is not there. If I was going to a premiere and the cast is there, yeah, I'll do that. But here's the thing: when you go to a play, you cheer, you do that, right? Because the people are there. At a movie, they're not there. Okay, they're not there. You don't.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird when people do.
Clapping is a pet peeve of mine at movie theaters.
Don't. Okay, if don't go to an IMAX screening day one, first screening of a Marvel movie, because that's literally what it is.
I know. Is it? I can tell you hate it too.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, sometimes it depends on the movie. Like if I'm not feeling the movie, I would be definitely pissed. If the movie's like hyped, like if it's like Infinity War or No Way Home, I don't really mind. But not every single movie.
Hey, it worked.
So it worked.
Whoa! I went the worst.
That kid's spoiling it. Oh man.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Don't lie for it.
Oh man. And Soup starts dancing. Oh
It used
man.
to be a point. It used to be a point where people really didn't clap in the movies.
No, yeah. Yeah. I think now it's like people just like accept it. But then it's kind of weird too because like in that same time, like in that same theater, people are clapping, and then if someone talks, then like someone gets mad. I just think that's a little bit weird. It's like you accept the clapping and the cheering, but like if someone talks, it's not acceptable. It's like why not just all of it just not be acceptable then?
Okay, Vortex. But you're still alive. So how did you come back alive then? If you didn't destroy your brain. Oh, I thought for a second there, I thought I saw Grace Randolph. Oh my god.
Oh god, and her takes. Oh, her takes on the show. Where we have to talk about that.
Let's get out of the way. Okay, I'm looking for that my DMs. Okay, not the blunt stuff. That's not.
Yeah, the blunt stuff was funny though. Like, it just shows her ignorance and how she can't admit she's wrong. It's just like
she said Joel's character is similar to Chris Pratt's character.
Which how can you? I don't understand. I don't understand how she made that comparison. She made a lot of weird comparisons, and you could tell. This is my problem with Grace Randolph, right? When she knows something, but it's very clear when she doesn't know something.
Yes, it does.
Right. Because she starts talking gobbledygook, and you're like, what are you saying?
Her video game stuff, she has no clue what she's talking about.
Yeah, like her whole, if you watch that video, she's like, because I watched it, right? And she was like, oh, how like people bought the video game because it's motion capture. And I'm like, I was like, I'm like, okay, now I know Grace Randolph really doesn't know anything about video games because motion capture in video games has been going on since the 90s. So it's like there's been N64. I'm pretty sure there's probably I'm certain there's an N64 game that is I was gonna say Super Nintendo, but
maybe it did well because it made my Naughty Dog and it was a good game. And Naughty Dog has done a lot of good games like Uncharted and Crash.
Yeah. They had a reputation. This is another thing that she just doesn't understand, right? It's like video games selling is not the same as a movie, right? Like, and then she was like, "Oh, The Last of Us is like an animated adult show," and it's like, no, no one would ever make that comparison. And her saying that, oh, they should have made the show motion capture. At that point, like people, like there's already people saying, "Oh, why would you remake this?" Right? Like the game already exists. So now you're gonna basically make a cutscene and then just put it on HBO. Well, like, what's the point of that? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, at that point, you're looking at a CGI work, and there's nothing, like, to me, it's too weird, right?
Yeah.
And that's not the appeal of the game. The appeal of the game was the fact that it was a Naughty Dog game,
Mhm.
right? And just like hearing some of her talking points, it was like and this is like, you need to do some research. You know what I mean? Like, don't be saying some of the stuff just like willy nilly, especially if it's not true. Like, none of the things that she says were true, right?
I think she just had no knowledge of video games.
Which is fine. I'm not even saying like she needs to be this expert, but like, don't, like, if you don't know something, just say you don't know, or I need to do the research and look,
But
right?
she people like that don't do that. Well, she does it for math, but she'll do it for the
Well,
math. But
well,
other stuff,
that's, yeah, like, she does it for the movies. Well, that's what I'm saying. She has a vast knowledge of movies, right? But when it comes to other things, you're like, I don't think you really understand that, right? And it's like, especially, and that's why I brought up that blunt thing, because it's like, her boldness is to be like, no, a blunt is a joint. It's like, no. No, it's like, if you don't, and she's even said, and what makes it funnier, right? She said she does not smoke weed. Why are you telling people that what is a blunt versus a joint? Like, I know that has nothing to do with the conversation, but to me, it's like, come on, really? Like, you've already admitted that you don't do this thing. Why are you fact checking people, right?
everybody smokes blunts. Come on.
Yeah. Oh man.
At Vortex. Uh, yeah, she doesn't know.
No, she doesn't.
I even think Campia knows. They Campia plans to know video games. He doesn't know any video games.
No, are these people? Listen. I'm gonna say something controversial. It may piss off some people. If you're not playing the game and you're watching the cutscene, in my opinion, you're not experiencing the game. You're watching cutscenes.
Here's the
You know what I
thing.
mean?
Here's
It's
the
like
thing.
watching a summary of a
Here's the
book on
thing.
YouTube. It's not the same.
God of War this year, right? This year, there's cutscenes. There's story in the cutscenes, but during the gameplay, when you're actually in control, fighting or you're just walking the event with your right. There's
Hmm.
dialogue. There's dialogue. That's very important to the story. There's still dialogue when there's not cutscenes taking place. There's still story.
Yeah, there's still story. That's not, and gameplay. You now, a lot of games are telling the story through the gameplay. So for you, and the thing is, if you're not playing the game and you just watch a compilation of cutscenes, you're actually losing some context too.
Yeah, yeah. Cabia Bitsy does that, right? Bitsy does.
No,
That's what.
it's not. I don't think it's a. I don't. As someone who plays games, when I hear, and speaking, we're talking about The Last of Us. People did this with The Last of Us Part Two, where they're like, "Well, I played. Well, I know the story because I watched it on YouTube." No, that doesn't count as playing the game. I'm sorry. Play the game, right? Because most people I don't mind if you don't like the story, right? Or you're like, I couldn't beat it because it was so bad. But like, don't be sitting there telling people like, oh, the game was bad after you watched the cutscene. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. That's
Yeah,
that's just the you know as just someone who plays games and is passionate. I just don't like when people do stuff like that.
they're watching like it's a movie. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
don't. It's not a movie. It's
Exactly.
literally the equivalent of looking at a book summary on YouTube.
Exactly. It's not a movie. It's not. They're video games.
And also too, like, not to like harp on this, but like, Grace Randolph was like, she was like, oh, she went and looked, and I'm like, I don't even think you actually sat down and watched like a movie compilation of the entire game, because
No.
in her review she was like pointing out things where it's like, how are you claiming that this is an Easter egg? This is
You
not
know,
an Easter egg.
to watch a whole video game story. Some games are really, really long. It could take days, man.
Yeah, there's games. The
Mhm.
Last of Us Part Two is like a 30-hour game.
Yeah, that could take days, man. That take
Yeah, so
try a Final Fantasy game. They take forever.
Yeah, any JRPG is gonna be like 100+ hours, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really like when I mean, I'm gonna watch her videos just to see what she says because I think this is just insane that she could just say all this stuff and no one is questioning her about it. Like really, like people bought The Last of Us because it was motion capture. What are you talking about? What are you talking? If we had to say that about The Last of Us, we would have to say that about every single game.
The Grace Randolph Sims will believe anything she says.
Like, come on, really? Like, I just learned like they motion captured for Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Like, come on, seriously? Like, it's ridiculous.
I don't know.
It's on Game Pass if you have Game Pass.
Oh, yeah. Game Pass. It's free on Game Pass. Yeah, man. You have Game Pass? I don't play Fortnite, man.
Yeah, I don't like Fortnite.
Oh. No.
That's the one thing I don't think I can get into. No.
Fortune. No, I'm kidding.
It's every time I see people play Fortnite, I have like a reaction. I'm just like, I don't understand it.
Oh, he is on the Switch. Yeah, he doesn't. They don't have Game Pass.
Okay, yeah,
that's true.
I would say,
you know, beg Isaac for money. There.
Doom. I wouldn't play Doom Eternal on Switch.
Yeah,
I would skip that.
If,
there's some other Doom-like games on Switch that are probably a little bit better to play on the Switch.
Yeah. So where were we? So we got Marlene and her group are designated terrorists by the fascists, obviously, and they need to take. I was about to say Bella. That's the actress name, Ellie. You know, and they need somebody to smuggle her, basically, and that's Joel and Tess. They're kind of right, and it's quite obvious. There's a reason why. It's because if you know the games, you know she might have the cure, right? For to be for everybody's affected, right? And you see that by her scar, or whatever, on her hand. Like, how is it possible that she's not affected? And she might, and she's immune, basically. She's basically immune to the infection, right? Like, and obviously, if you play the game, you know they wanted to get the cure out of her. So, right? Because if you get the cure out of her, you could cure people, make them immune to the infection.
Supposedly. I don't want to go into spoilers, but
I know. Yeah, we'll get later into that. That's gonna happen eventually, right?
Yeah, I'm curious to how they're going to handle that because that's also kind of debated in the Last of Us community. There's a lot of people who are like, we don't need to get into it because it's spoilers, so I don't want to say it just in case people haven't played the game.
And she went into Will Smith, and Will Smith gets the cure from her. You know,
it was funny too. They're making an I Am Legend 2 with Michael B. Jordan.
It was such a good movie, though. I Am Legend is a great movie.
I preferred the book.
Well,
I prefer the book.
Better.
Well, they could have done a little bit better in the movie. In my
Michael B.
opinion.
Jordan can make Rainbow now. Rainbow Siege.
Yes, I did see that. That might be interesting. I want to see how that goes.
Remember, he got so assaulted. No, GFB, Giant Freaking Bob got so assaulted. Yeah, we reported that Michael B. Jordan be starting in Rainbow. That's been reported. Before the pandemic. What the report was is the director, not the actor.
Yeah, I mean, Michael B. Jordan was in another Tom Clancy movie, so I'm not surprised that he's in this. But he's probably played the game.
GFB is so stupid. They're like, oh yeah, we report. Yeah, give us credit. We report Michael B. Jordan's going to be in Rainbow. Yeah, but that's been always been the plan. Today's news is about the director who's directing it, not who's starring in it. CFB is so stupid. And I can't believe Max use them as a source. Say, oh, if Mario movie is successful, there's rumors of a Zelda movie, and I'm like using GFP as a source for that. I'm like, nope.
I think anybody could have told you that. I think I could have just said that.
But it's a minute. Like, I don't think GFB is a geekoxy. Okay, fake.
Mm-hmm.
Fake shit.
Yeah, they throw stuff at the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We throw hey, you throw stuff at the wall. I throw stuff at the wall, and you know what? Some stuff, our stuff came true. Some of the stuff, and we didn't have sources. We don't have sources. We just guess. Anybody could guess it could come true. It's. But yeah, so they had to smuggle. Joel has a connection with Marlene, obviously, and they have to smuggle her out, right?
Well, he hates Marlene.
Yeah.
Because he is under the belief that Marlene is the reason why Tommy doesn't like him.
Oh yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they did cut out a part from the game, obviously, where you play as Joel. Obviously, you're playing as Joel, and you and Tess are tracking down Robert. And when you track him down, Tess ends up killing him, which doesn't happen in the show. Robert is already dead by the time they get to him, right? Because they have that shootout in the hallway.
Yeah.
So I thought that was I mean, it is what it is.
So they try to sneak you out, in quarantine, because if you leave quarantine without permission, you pretty much is a death sentence, is a death penalty. Basically, you get hanged.
Yeah.
Right. And so they as they're about to escape, they get caught by the guy that Joel was giving drugs to, right? Was it Oxy?
Yeah, it was something to help with his tremors or something.
Yeah, and they try to reason with them that we'll give you half. We'll give you like 3/4, right? Something like that. And they're almost not full, but like unfortunately, Joel got flashbacks because of his daughter. Because he was pointing. The guy was pointing. The security guy was pointing a gun at him, and that's exactly what happened 20 years before with his daughter.
Yes.
Flashback, and that set him off, and he basically punched the guy to death. And somebody said, I forget who. Somebody said Ellie was looking, she was enjoying it. And I'm like, that face was not enjoyment. That face was like shocked.
No, why? I don't. What? Who said that? What the hell?
Look at that.
Is weird takes. Weird takes.
No, I don't know. It was something. I don't know. But basically, they didn't try.
No, she looked pretty shocked. I don't think. I think they were going to. She would kill him, right? But I don't think she realized like, oh, he's gonna just like bare fist him and just beat him up and kill him.
Because it's different. It's different because the way he did is from like Robert Parrish's Batman did the exact same thing, but he didn't kill the guy in the Riddler goon, right? It's more of a PTSD or something like that, like a flashback. It does that. It triggers something where you lose control.
But even if you don't show the flashback, like that's Joel's character. Joel goes to the extreme, right? That's like he's not a great person. I think people tend to always forget that Joel. He doesn't like he didn't necessarily need to kill that guy too. You know what I mean? So he just did it instinctively because obviously what has happened to him in the past. But I mean, he's going to do this through the course of the show. That's why I was like, when you can see him when he's okay, and then there's a point where he flips, and that's what I think Pedro Pascal like does really well. Is like, hey, you can see him, and he looks like he looks like an okay guy. He's kind of like distant from people, but he's a monster. Like he on the flip of a dime, he'll go crazy. You know what I mean?
Okay. No, you're not. I know. Come on, Vortex. What are you trying to do? You want people to cancel you? Easy. And that's pretty much the ending of the first episode, right? Like pretty much.
Yeah, there was another change with Tommy, and Joel goes to that radio transmitter.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
and then we also get a hint of Bill and Frank, which is going to be interesting to see what they do with them because
Mhm.
I will. I don't want to say because it's a spoiler again.
No, I know there's some people on Twitter did not like the first episode.
Yeah, which is fine, but I still going to critique them. Not like their reasons for it. I don't think are solid. It's subjective, but still.
What reasons do you disagree with? Like,
I think the one I don't mind if people don't like the show. It is what it is. I'm not gonna like hold your feet to the fire. But when I hear people say I don't like the show because well, it's literally a one-to-one adaptation, then I'm like, you know what? Like this is when we go back into the you can never please people because if it's
did people in the past have complaints about video game stuff not being exactly like
video
game? Now we're going the opposite.
Now we're going the complete opposite, and it feels like, and I made a tweet about this, right? I know some people saw the tweet where I said,
Mario then.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, Mario doesn't really have a heavy story, but it's probably going to be accurate because there's a lot of references to other games. Yeah. But yeah, like I just think it's weird that people are like, well, I played the original, and so therefore I have no intention of watching this. Like I think it's going to suck. So it's like you can never really win because it's like, well, then what? That's the whole point of adaptation, right? Is it's either you change it and so it's dramatically different.
Dude, comic book movies are like that all the time. They're not exactly like the comics, and
yeah, they're not exactly like the comics. But I just feel like, listen, you don't need to watch it if you've already played the game. Like that's fine. But like the whole point is that they're bringing it for a new audience, right? And I feel like so many people are get caught up into, well, I already played it. It's like you do realize there's a bunch of books that have been adapted to movies, and I can guarantee it that most of these people who are complaining and love these movies, right? And I listed out a whole crap ton of movies, right, spanning from like the 30s to modern day, right?
It's got a lot of people watching, and I'm telling you one thing: most of these people haven't read the book.
No, they haven't read the book, right? And so it's like, yeah, it's like so. In other words, would you not want these books to be adapted, right?
Book movies.
So like you don't want Lord of the Rings to exist. You don't want Fight Club to exist. You don't Gone with the Wind should have never came out. Like what are you talking about? Like these are movies that are influential to cinema in general, and they are very close to being one-to-one adaptations, right? So in my opinion, it's okay to not like the show. Fine, you don't want to watch it, you played the game. But like don't be like, "Oh, why did they need to adapt it?" It's like we haven't even gotten a one-to-one video game story. You know what I mean? Like I think people need to relax on that point because it's a point that feels so just mindless. Sorry.
Next, I'll do that. I'll join Casey Gamers for April. I'll do it for you, buddy. Yeah, it's really stupid. It's not everything on cover translates to on screen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And right, who cares really? Like, if as long as the core and the story elements are there, that makes what the whole story is about. It's fine. You could change some stuff, like, right? I mean, people.
Why would you? Why the thing is, when I asked about The Last of Us, right? The Last of Us is a linear story, and I seen people are like, "Oh, why didn't they explore the 20 years?" Because that's not the story. This is a point that I just don't understand. It's like the story and why people talk about The Last of Us is what happens at the ending.
Do these people think there's going to be 5 seasons of the show? I'm guaranteed there's not going to be 5 seasons of the show. I think max is going to be 4.
I think there's going to be. I will say this. I think there will be 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Because the second game is going to get. It's not going to be a one season. It's going to be split in parts.
Yeah, because I don't know if there's been rumors. You know, you're more in the video game stuff in terms of rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been talked about Last of Us 3?
Yeah, there's been everybody knows that Last of Us 3 exists. Neil Druckmann himself said that there's a treatment for
How's
it.
there any rumors, like any whispers of possible release?
If we will get if The Last of Us 3 comes out anytime soon, I would say 2027, 2028.
Okay. So by that time, there's a possibility we may not have Last of Us series again, or maybe.
Well, by that time, if you think about it, if we get a second season to this, it will probably be like
25.
I want to say 2020. I would say 2026.
Yeah, I just don't want to be like a Game of Thrones situation where they had to do the last season and they had to make up their whole. They couldn't take anything from the books because
they confirmed that it can't. They're not going to do that. They actually outright mentioned Game of Thrones. They're like, it's not going to be like Game of Thrones.
Okay, good, because a lot of people weren't happy with that. But you know what? Don't blame HBO for that. I know a lot of people did not like the final season, but don't blame HBO for that. Blame Martin. Martin for that, the author.
Well, I don't even blame him. That's it. Like everybody knows, that's his writing style. Is like he almost like meanders in his writing. Not to say the writing is meandering, but his style of trying to write the story.
I don't even think he's even close to finishing it. I don't even.
No, he said. I think he said he's like halfway or like 75%. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe do shows on finished books and series first.
Or in my opinion, I think with I don't know much of Game of Thrones, but I do know stuff about Martin. He's very like particular. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of it's so hard to like make a comparison to. I don't know. Maybe he's kind of like Kubrick, where it's like he's very particular about how the story's going to play out, and he wants to tell that story first. So I feel like if he just gave them a treatment with like story beats and like some suggestions, I can't really see him doing something like that. It's just not in his as an artist or a writer or a storyteller. I can't see him doing that.
And HBO. Okay, we got the Targaryen series, right? House of Dragon. But HBO and HBO Max, they're trying to develop a Game of Thrones universe that's probably never in the books. With the Jon Snow universe, like that's not in the book, but not the universe, but it's a spin-off. There's other ones in the works that haven't been officially announced. But that's all going to be made up from people who's running the showrunners and all that, and the writers, all that. It's not going to be from the books or anything. It's going to be just from them because that's Martin's style, man. Because he wrote House of Dragon. Like basically, the book they took that from the book.
Yeah.
I do not have a Kanye poster.
Oh Jesus. I don't think it's gonna get canceled.
Who's gonna cancel?
HBO. When was the last time HBO did cancel something? Let me look this up. HBO original content.
Who's just gonna?
Oh well, they did cancel Westworld recently, right? But like, was that really HBO canceling it, or is that more like Warner Brothers stepped in and told them to cancel it?
Suspense of HBO, apparently.
I can't see them canceling the show, to be honest. No, because the show is a massive IP. The third game is going to come out. You like the first season it won't be like a massive hit, but it will gain like traction, and then you know what I mean, like. It'll be around, and on top of that too, the second game has so many plot elements, and they're already talking about it, right? Where it's like there's all these different factions in the second game, and we don't really get to know a lot about them. And I feel like in the show they would want to explore these factions, like who they are and their philosophies and the stories behind them. And this is also something I want to see in the first season too, is because. We all know the story, the Last of Us in the sense of the plot beats, but there's also stories when you're playing the game and you're running around reading the notes, right? and that's why I say Bill and Frank, right? I mean, can I just say the spoiler, I guess, even though like
Yeah.
if you haven't played the game, I'm gonna say a spoiler. So Frank is dead in the game, right? And by the time you get to Bill, he's been long dead. And so by reading some of the notes, you sort of learn that Bill and Frank actually had a relationship, right? And to the point where it kind of broke away and Frank kills himself. So I don't know if that's going to happen in the story. We're going to see that. It seems like it because I heard some reviewers are hinting at it. But there's
Frank Castle.
Frank. Oh man.
What?
What the heck?
What? I know America Chavez actress. What? I don't know. I didn't hear about bullying her.
And I have no clue. Yeah, that was like way back in 2015. Yeah.
Oh. Frank Castle didn't die. Come on.
Oh God. But yeah, there's another bits and stories in the game. There's one that happens with when you're with Sam and Henry. So I want to see if they put that character in the show, or if he's dead. I don't know.
Is that Bum Max doing a stream tonight? No, it's not right now. Oh yeah. So episode 2 is next Sunday, obviously.
Yeah.
Stream next week, obviously. I just want to briefly. I know this is not related to this topic at all. Okay, it's not related to Last of Us, but it's kind of video game stuff. The supposed leak.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, I get your brief thoughts.
Oh, you want to go first?
I hope it's not true, but apparently it is.
I think it is true. Some anonymous source came out and said it was true.
I read that you have to get Battle Pass to like upgrade your character and stuff like that. The characters, because you get to pick which character you get to choose, right?
Yes.
And there's only 4, as we know.
As of here's the thing. Now I'm. So okay, there's just so much. I'm so bothered by this. I don't think I'm buying this game day one. I don't think I'm going to buy this game anytime soon, even after it launches, if I'm being honest. So the lease that we talked about beforehand about the Suicide Squad, right, where all these characters are dying, they have to do a reboot. I'm fairly certain now that is bull crap because they said that the game was originally well it is, because this new leak now contradicts that one, right? Because they were like, oh, it's a live service, and they were originally planning to have characters like Peacemaker and Bloodsport show up as new characters that you can play as. So now I'm starting to think that even though that rumor is fake, I wouldn't be surprised if they add new characters like Peacemaker and Bloodsport. Those 2 characters in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're gun-focused characters, too.
Yeah, every character in that game has a gun. Except Boomerang. Boomerang doesn't use a gun. He uses his boomerangs.
Well, I'm sure he's going to use a gun.
Oh.
Just because the way it says loadout and...
Oh, yeah.
It seems like you can customize and have different guns and stuff, so...
Yeah, the Battle Pass. That's what Avengers did, right?
Yeah, it's identical to Avengers. I know some people are like, oh, the battle. Well, the anonymous source says the battle pass is just cosmetics, but here's the thing. That's all battle passes. I don't know why that was even a caveat. It was like, if you've played any game with a battle pass, it's all like cosmetics, like emotes and stickers and things for your banner. It's like, dude, like, don't be beating around the horse. Like, come on.
Emotes and stuff like that work for a Suicide Squad game.
I guess, sure.
It works for Fortnite.
Sure, but like, it's not. Listen. I think a lot of live service games, they always go up in smoke, or they take years to get better. It's either those two things.
Degrassi, did you hear about that bullshit stuff about the Suicide Squad? How the Flash is gonna like reboot the whole Arkham universe? Well, most of the Arkham universe. Degrassi, did you hear about that? That was I think that that's definitely fake. I don't believe that for a second.
No, I don't believe that anymore. It's
what comes out first, Suicide or Zelda? Because the same month.
Zelda.
Oh.
That shouldn't even be a question. I would in a heartbeat buy Zelda over Suicide Squad.
Is it first? Is it before, or which one comes out first?
Zelda comes out first.
Oh, okay. Oh, Degrassi. You want to talk to Degrassi about the supposed 4chan rumors about Justice League?
The 4chan. I mean, at this point, it's not even real. Let me pull it up because it's like it's so long and in detail where you're like,
it's gonna
this is nice.
It's gonna make you it's unbelievable with this stuff.
Well, it's in my opinion, the whole plot line is redundant and stupid. It's like doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, he's pulling up for you, guys.
Yeah, I need to just go to the Reddit. Where is this? This leak was just and by the way, this is another thing while I pull this up. I think this leak is someone either read this is my theory, right? Someone read the 4chan leak and was like, nah, this is nothing like the game. The game is worse. That's my belief, because if the game was good and the game was not a live service game, they wouldn't have leaked this. This seems like a counter. Someone at Rocksteady put this out there and let people. Maybe they're unhappy, or they're like, this is like a warning. I don't know.
Unfortunately, it still exists. Vortex. You see
I keep clicking on the wrong one.
You see that awful Gotham Knights trailer? Oh my god.
Yeah, with the Batman and it doesn't even have a suit. It's terrible. Where is this 4chan league?
The cowl.
Okay, here it is.
The Batman's cowl. What the hell is that? It's like,
Well, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the bat suit is literally a suit and tie. Well, like that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I now remember. I'm like, what the hell?
I don't know if there's like some story context or I don't know. It's just weird. But anyway, this is the leaks. The leaks say. Let me just pull this up. The leaks say, okay. Aquaman is in the game. He's in the tutorial, and he's killed off comedically by King Shark with quips about how lame he is.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid. Yes, you do kill the Justice League members, except for Diana and Barry. Collectibles are in the game. They're literally bloodied costume pieces or weapons of other DC heroes and villains who are dead or fighting elsewhere. One collectible is a Riddler trophy very early in the game. It's a straight up tutorial mission that actually has a pre-recorded message where it's essentially Riddler dying. That's what it is. And then it says that you fight Superman twice in the game. One in the beginning where he basically, wipes the floor with you. And then the second one where Wonder Woman actually helps distract him so you can, kill him. And then there's a mission where you find the kryptonite bullet in LexCorp, where you actually see the dead body of Bloodsport, and you have to actually take the kryptonite bullet from, I think it's on his body or something. Yeah. And then there's also that you find out that Earth is doomed, and so because of that, Diana basically has this plan to do what she calls the Flashpoint Protocol, which is basically like in the post, it's really dumb. The post says, which is self-explanatory, and it's not self-explanatory, right? If you know Flashpoint, you know what he did, but that doesn't imply what this Flashpoint protocol is, because it's totally different. It's him going back in time and resetting everything.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is, he's resetting things that are actually different because, and this gets in at the ending of the leak where it's revealed that Damian now exists in the Arkham universe. Joker is now cured of Titan and now is working with Lex Luthor to set up the Legion of Doom, and all this stuff. Like, and then you also have Superman in the game killing Jimmy Olsen. You have just a lot of this like edgy edgelord stuff.
Is this Zack Snyder writing this stuff?
It feels like Zack Snyder. It feels like like people. This is not like The Boys. The Boys is a lot more clever in my opinion, and it's so this is all just like, in my opinion, it's all hogwash. It's all garbage. I don't believe none of this. And then they even go into detail about Peacemaker, and Peacemaker was supposed to be in the game, which is with this new leak now. I bet Peacemaker is going to show up.
It will be voiced by John Cena.
I mean, it'd be cool, but nah.
Oh yeah. How long? So I'm gonna end this now. You know.
Yeah.
Good.
It was a good stream.
Yeah. Hopefully we get more people on, more people that get to see episode 2. You know, we'll talk about
hopefully.
it. I know George didn't see it, so I know he wouldn't come on. I know others wouldn't come on if they haven't seen it. So, you know, I like people. Hey, shut Vortex. Let's see you stream. You know what? I'm gonna invite you on next time, Vortex.
Bruh. Yeah, you should come on the stream.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, for other people, share, subscribe, like, you know, all that stuff. I don't know what my next stream is. Obviously it's gonna be a stream Saturday. I just gotta think for something for Saturday. Mm-hmm. I did stream on Spider-Man last night. Go check it out. George joined me. It was a fun stream. I decided not to join Max's stream, and that stream went for 4 hours. It's just reasons why I didn't go on that stream. Even though they talk Marvel and other stuff. But yeah, I got nothing for Thursday, nothing tomorrow, nothing for Thursday, nothing for Friday. I mean, I'm no busy Friday anyway. But Saturday should be our next stream. You know, we never know. There might be a stream popped up randomly. Okay, you never know. Or a video randomly. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, and comment below. Yeah.
Peace.
Which game? No, March. No, May. I think you're talking about the Suicide Squad game? May. Guys, we want to hear you talk. Yeah, peace, everybody.